out on the road, and now back at home. Just a short follow-up to my road trip review on the TCL NXTWEAR G. Now, most of the meat and potatoes are in that first video, so I'd recommend you watch that before catching the rest of this. Just get you up to speed. Now that I'm back at home and I'm surrounded by computers and monitors and TVs, has my opinion changed on the NXTWEAR G? And it has. A little. Let me just put this case down so we can actually talk about this headset. Obviously, a discrete wearable display is a little less precious when I have the luxury of owning TVs in my office and bedroom. Like I alluded to in that first video, I don't believe NXTWEAR is the solution to replace a TV in your home where you might have that privilege of multiple TVs. But even getting back to work here in the Gadget Lab, I don't believe it's too much of a stretch to consider this as a solution in an apartment or a dorm room, somewhere where space might be at a premium or where you might be facing competition for who gets to control the remote. You got a roommate playing on an Xbox, but you want to watch a movie or focus on getting some work done with minimal distractions. But there's also something kind of special about having a solution that can jet around town with you. Those folks going to a coffee shop or a shared workspace. I definitely think there's a value here for having the larger display in front of you, but also if you have any concerns, someone snooping over your shoulder if you're trying to look at some sensitive information. I wanted to follow up on some of the comments I got from that first video and answer some of the questions that people posted below. Akshay commented, I kind of want to see what it looks like, even a simulated screen image. Now, I am not an animator or graphic designer, but it's kind of like putting a lens hood on the top 3/4 of a TV and sitting about this far away from it. Patelevision, Hellspawn05, and William all asked about the TCL desktop mode in the special version of this TCL 20 Pro 5G. Now, I'm gonna reiterate, it's really good. This is extremely well-polished software, does a phenomenal job of catching us up to and kind of surpassing the workflow and experience that you'd see from LG's desktop modes. I haven't had an opportunity yet to use Motorola's Ready 4, but against DeX, I'd say the main sticky spot for TCL solution is the universal resizing of windows. There's still a few apps that get a little finicky or a little clumsy when you try to manipulate that window size, where DeX is obviously a more polished desktop style experience. What I'm critically excited about though is a desktop mode this good in its very first generation. But back to the glasses. Al Sabakli asked, how does this connect to what software options or desktop modes a certain phone might have available? And the connection is mostly passive here. If a phone has a desktop mode, it'll show up. If it does not have a desktop mode, but it does have some kind of screen output, then it'll mirror what's on your phone screen. There's nothing in the NXTWEAR that manages that connection. You don't have to install any additional software. It all relies on the host device. It's a lot like any other USB-C powered monitor in that regard. Arga Deep Saha wrote, more than display, I'm curious about the audio experience. Now, this is tricky for me to show or to demonstrate. There are these little speaker vents in the arms, and they aren't super high fidelity, but they do sort of wash the ear with the audio. It's not like bone conduction, it's a little more like a super weak version of the wearable speakers we were all playing with for a hot minute. If I were to play phone speakers next to these, it would be no contest. But a phone speaker is likely going to be used at a further distance from your face, and it's not gonna be right on top of your ear. The NXTWEAR sound fine, but I think moving to some earbuds is a better way to go to improve the audio fidelity. The Magnumties replied with a use that I had not considered in my first review. These would be good to give you a first-person view on my DJI Mini 2, which actually would be a trip. I'm way less familiar with using VR headsets for drones, so I honestly don't know if the open peripheral vision design of the NXTWEAR would be a good fit for that kind of use. I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people were just interested in this idea. Now, there are some similar concepts on the market, which to my eye all seem more cumbersome or finicky to use. So I think what TCL has done here is the best iteration yet that we've seen in turning this idea into a real consumer-facing product that might bring some mainstream consumer interest. It is going to be nice TV expensive. There's definitely room to polish and improve on this design, but I haven't seen anything yet which feels like it could be as real as what I've gotten to use here. Even getting these back at home where the utility isn't quite as immediate as my road trip experiences, I'm still really excited about this because face computing is hard. I think there's room for simple heads-up displays like my precious Focals by North. There's fully immersive entertainment hardware like VR headsets. And TCL has delivered a crossover entertainment product which competes against portable displays and mounted home televisions. This is a joy to use out in the field, out and about, and it might also find some regular rotation in your home. This still feels really fresh, and I thought that was worthy of a shorter term follow-up than I would normally produce on this channel. I'm probably gonna have to be sending these back to TCL soon, but I'm hoping to get my hands on them again, maybe even do one of those 1 year later kinds of follow-ups. I'll of course leave some links down below where you can find more information on the TCL NXTWEAR G, maybe shop some of these puppies online whenever they eventually arrive in North America. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to the channel. Supporting your favorite content creators has never been more critical than it is today, so I greatly appreciate those of you who are checking out the links in the description down below. Maybe you're shopping a little merch. That kind of stuff really does help keep production rolling on this channel. There's a full list of all my affiliates and partnerships on SomeGadgetGuy.com, or you might consider, just maybe, checking out the list of names scrolling by on your screen from my Patreon, patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list is basically a collection of the coolest tech pals on the web, so I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, and the Facebooks and the Instagrams. And I will catch you all. And I will catch you all on the next video.